What is up, YouTube? My name is Eben. Happy 4th of July to my American fans, and, well, to everybody who's not in America, well, it's still the 4th of July, and I still hope you have a happy day. But either way you slice it, I've got a deck today that involves some cards you've seen a lot, but they go very well hand in hand, and I found a build that's really something special, and it's very successful, and I want to work with it. And I thought I'd like to share it with you, especially over Nationals weekend, for U.S. Nationals. Because I think we should be focusing on somewhat more competitive builds this weekend. So yeah, here we go. It runs 3 Mega Manectric EX. His Turbo Bolt, obviously the allure there. Nice little free retreat. We're running 4 Manectric EX because he's an excellent starter, and his Assault Laser is very powerful as well, usually hitting for 120 because people are typically carrying tools these days. And we've got his excellent partner in crime, Seismitoad EX. Mainly we're here for his Quaking Punch, but we can definitely take advantage of his Grenade Hammer in this build as well. And we have one more Pokemon in this deck, and it's a Pokemon that does not get nearly the recognition it deserves, and that is Articuno. This is the Delta Plus Articuno that takes an extra prize when it knocks something out. And its second attack is the one we're looking at, and it's easy to power up with Mega Manectric's Turbo Bolt. One Turbo Bolt plus any other energy in your hand at all pretty much sets up his Tri-Edge, which is 20 base damage, and then 3 coins and 40 damage for each heads beyond that. So think of it as being like an average of 80 damage per attack, 100 with Muscle Band, which means he's very good at picking off mons that have been hit by, say, a couple of Quaking Punches, or have sucked up one Turbo Bolt or one Assault Laser from your EXs. But even on his worst day, this Articuno can still be a 1 prize speed bump to your opponents who otherwise only need 3 knockouts against our deck, since everything else is EX, in order to win the game. Since 3 knockouts against the EXs is 6 prizes, whereas this Articuno only gives up 1, so it's sort of like buying yourself an extra knockout, an extra turn in the game, if you will. But its Tri-Edge attack on Articuno can definitely easily pick up some extra prizes and swing momentum in your favor, and your opponent doesn't get much on their revenge kill. It's a really good Pokemon in this build where you got Mega Manectric to help pump it up. And if you haven't ever tried this mon before, definitely try it. I found it very successful. But enough about that. The rest of the build is for Juniper or Sycamore, whichever one floats your boat. By now, if you've been watching my channel, you know which one floats my boat. And speaking of which, we're also running 4 Shaunas. You can also run this in any combination with Professor Birch's Observations or just the Professor Birch's Observations, but you know that I like the guaranteed 5 versus the possibility of 4, especially when you're in a tight situation, so I'm opting for Shauna. Now, we do run one Zerosic. This can be great for picking damaging tools like Headringer off of your EXs. Say this can be a great way to get your Manectric Spirit Link onto a Mega Manectric, onto a Manectric EX you want to turn into a Mega. This can be a great way to turn what your opponent thought was a mon they didn't have to worry about into one they do have to worry about. And it can also get rid of supportive cards on your opponent's side of the field, special energies. It's just a very good utilitarian card, and even on its worst day, it can pull a Manectric Spirit Link off of one of your Pokemon so that you can put a Muscle Band onto it. A very good one-of supporter in this deck. And we also run 2 Team Flare Grunt. This goes very well with our Seismitoad EX, obviously. And, of course, just about any deck benefits from putting your opponent back a turn by taking that energy off their active, because usually the active Pokemon is the one who's got the energy they need. You need to play it a little bit smart, but this card can be very powerful. It can also be very damaging to, say, other Seismitoad EXs who don't like having their double colorless energies pulled off. We do still run our kind of standard 1 Lysander. It's going to be a great way to pick up KOs and whatnot. Mega Manectric really likes this as well, as that 110 can often pick up KOs on mons that have been weakened by other things. Also, Articuno likes it quite a bit. And our last supporter is Az, or AZ. This is just a great way to deny knockouts and prizes to opponents. Whether you're picking up Mega Manectric or Seismitoad EX, either way, Az can be a very cheap way, since our Pokemon use very little energy, to recycle them, and you don't mind sending basic energies to the discard pile in this deck, of course, because of Mega Manectric. So it's just a natural fit, very useful. We're opting for 2 Manectric Spirit Links, just so that we don't have to lose a turn necessarily to Mega Evolve. Pretty straightforward there. We don't want to draw too many of them, but 2 is pretty good, pretty reliable. We have 4 muscle bands. This is our tool of choice when we're not using the Spirit Link, obviously. Every mon in the deck wants it, and they want it fairly quickly, so you can put on some quick pressure onto our opponents, which is pretty crucial, so we have opted for 4. And we do have 1 copy of Tool Retriever. It gets rid of things like Headringer, of course, so that you can replace it with Muscle Band or whatever you need. And it can also swap your Manectric Spirit Link out. I do like running the 1 copy of it in this build. And speaking of ways to utilize things like the fact that we only have 2 Spirit Links, but we got a whole lot of Mega Manectrics, is we have 4 Trainers Mail. This is just a great card, and it can pick up supporters when you're in kind of a bad situation where you don't have supporters, like you start with no supporters, something like that. Very useful, and it can get versus Seekers late game. There's just nothing this card really can't get. It's just a natural choice at 4, and it thins your deck out too, which is also very utilitarian when you're trying to go get something. We've opted for 2 Ultra Balls just to kind of up our consistency a little bit and to put basic energies in our discard pile. We are running 1 Professor's Letter, largely as a Trainer's Mail target. That way you can kind of make sure you're getting basic energies if you don't have it already. It's just kind of like I say, it's basically for Trainer's Mail. Who doesn't want to get the Professor's Letter in their Trainer's Mail? Alright, I'm sorry, I won't. Dumb joke. Anyway, we're going to opt for 3 Versus Seekers. This is just to recycle our 13 supporters. We have a number of 1-ofs and things like that these can be very useful with. And of course, if you ever get shorted of cards, you can use this to go get your Sycamore Juniper or your Shauna, respectively. And a really fun stadium we're opting for here is Rough Seas, because it heals every single mon in our deck 30 apiece, and this can make Seismitoad very unpleasant for our opponents, especially when we have things like Team Flare Grunt to slow them down even more. You have to be careful how you play this, make sure you know what your opponent's playing, and see if it's going to help you more in that situation than your opponent potentially. It's a card you need to play with a little bit of care, but it's very powerful. Very powerful. A very useful card. Can definitely change games by extending like 2-hit KOs and whatnot into 3-hit KOs. We've also opted for 2 Escape Ropes because Free Retreating Mega Manectric loves Escape Rope. It's a fun way to disrupt opponents, steal KOs, deny KOs. Definitely better than Switch when we've got some free retreats hanging around. And our final item is Energy Retrieval. It's not necessarily a card a lot of people run, but with Lysander's Trump card gone and a limited pool of basic energies in our deck, just in case Mega Manectric's not around, or we need to find, say, that electric energy so that we can fire off our Turbo Laser, Energy Retrieval can be a very nice way to kind of guarantee that we've got the right energy at the right time. Just a little more flexibility for our deck, so it's something nice to have access to if we need it. Energy-wise, because we've got those Seismitoads, we of course want these double colorless energies, and we want to be consistent, so we're running 4, because when we get Seismitoad EX going, we want to get it going as quickly as possible. Don't want a lot of lag time there. We have our 4 lightning energies, 1 for each of our Manectric EXs, because we got 4 of those. Each one only needs 1, so that covers us completely. And we've got these 4 lovely water energies. Seismitoad EX doesn't necessarily need water energies, but even though when he does, he needs 2. Oftentimes, only one of your Seismitoads will ever even want the water energies to get up a Grenade Hammer, if at all. In many ways, these are just for Articuno. And for powering up Mons when the lightning energy doesn't happen to be the one you've got. This is just giving us a diverse energy base, basically, so that Mega Manectric's always got the energy he needs to attach to your benched Pokemon to get the job done. So anyway, this is Mega Manectric, along with his partner in crime, Seismitoad EX. And like I said, give this deck a try. It's very successful. It's a nice balance of aggression and control. It's just really good. Build it on Trading Card Game Online if yours is actually working. Mine isn't, but you know, hey, nobody's perfect. And definitely take it to your local. This is something that could easily win a local tournament in my mind. But anyway, I've talked enough. Until next time, like, comment, subscribe, check me out on Twitter, link will be below, and I will see you next time.